I think one of the things that's most difficult to deal with when you're looking at a situation like this where there's change and you're not sure how to handle it is the balance of having faith or not. And faith in the situation, faith in a higher power, however you'd like to divide that up. But for our example, back up a year and we could see forward, we could see the path. And even though it wasn't every step was defined, we kind of could see what it looked like. And now my wife still has that, right? She still has a career path at her job. My daughter has that. She still has a trajectory for school and where she's going. And I honestly feel like, man, I'm just upside down. I have no idea. I can't see what the future looks like for me or for our family. Grandma's living with us right now, which is great to have grandma, but like a 42-year-old, me, married with a kid, not used to living with grandma. So for me, the struggle is the definition of faith of I can't see what's in front of me, but I have to believe and trust that it's the right thing. And that's really hard to do. It's a lot easier said than done. And even though everything looks positive, and it is, that doesn't mean that you can't feel what you're feeling and struggle with those emotions and how to process that and just how to think about the future. And I wonder if anybody else that's listening or if anybody else has gone through something similar to that, because it's not fun, whether you have the guilt associated with it or not. Feeling lost, feeling unhappy, feeling unsatisfied is a tough thing. And then if you add the guilt into that, I think that even makes it more difficult, where you feel guilty about feeling that way, even though you're sitting in a beautiful home and you have a wonderful family and all that. But that is something that I really struggled with. And I'm curious if anybody else has gone through that as well. One of the things I've thought about with this is how I'm processing my emotions and what I'm feeling and kind of being lost and all of that is, what would I tell my daughter if she was older and in this same situation? Because everybody has that grass is greener syndrome. Everybody looks across and compares themselves to their neighbors or their coworker or the next person in the gym or whatever, whose car's nicer, any of that stuff. And it's not about any of that for me. But for me, it's about struggling to see what's next and having what I thought was a clear path no longer be a clear path. And you're going to have that happen, right? All of us are going to have that where we just kind of feel lost and just sort of in purgatory for how long. And I think a mistake is to try to force something, to try to will something, to try to say, all right, I'm going to quit this job and I'm going to go do this and I'm going to go do that. And all of a sudden you get there and you realize, man, I had a really sweet setup and now I don't get to spend time with my family, or I don't get this or that or whatever. So I think the message that I would give my daughter about feeling lost, about not being able to see a clear path to the future, is to focus on what you can control. And that typically is just your daily habits, your daily routine, your daily education, taking care of yourself, exercising, sleeping, eating well, all of that. And when you are clear-headed with that, when you are doing things that have meaning and have purpose, that a lot of times the next steps will reveal themselves to you. But if you're distracted and you're drowning out your emotions and feelings and all of that in pick your vice, it's hard to see what the future holds. I think the final thing that I would tell my daughter is to have faith. And that's easier said than done. But I think a good first step in having faith is to remove doubt. You can't force yourself to have faith, but you can remove doubt. You can create the absence of doubt. And when that happens, I think that is a good first step to beginning having faith and beginning to see what the future will hold.